everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss a term in the PGM program that nobody wants to hear, and that is suspension. What happens is if you fail to meet the requirements of the program or you fail to uphold your agreement that you signed going into the program, you can receive what they call a suspension. Now, it's not a impossible thing to come back from, but it's definitely one of those things that shows you're not putting in the effort or the proper steps in place to make sure you get through the system in a timely manner. For example, the three basics we covered in the last video, you need to do a chapter meeting, you need to do a playing performance during the year, and you need to do an educational experience. That's pretty much it in a nutshell as far as the requirements go. But there are a number of other things that can happen to lead to bad things in the program. First and foremost, you must stay caught up on your dues. That is very, very important. If you do not do that, they will revoke playing privileges, other pieces that affect everything down the run. Number two is you must maintain eligible employment. And again, there's a long list of categories that you can fall into for the employment piece of this. Definitely find the right one for you and go with it. Whatever you can stay employed in the whole time, please do. If you roll forward from there, really, there's not a whole lot else that can happen to you, but let's talk about the three big ones and how you can avoid those. So first off is the attending a chapter meeting. Make sure you are on your chapter page. Make sure you get to know the people that coordinate the meetings. Right now with COVID, it's even crazier because everything's just done via Zoom. So make sure you jump in, catch up on those things. Find out when the educational things are, where the maybe the business management one is. If you're taking the level 1 course, there's a lot of little pieces you can jump into and find some really good mentors in those meetings that can help you out with a little piece here and there if you need additional help that your own course or your mentor can't provide for you. Number two would definitely be you've got to play an event. Now, if you play your PAT, then the qualifier in level 1 back to back to back, your PAT does count as an event. It's a sanctioned event, so you're okay there for the first year. After that, you need to make sure you're into other playing situations such as pro-ams, chapter tournaments, member pros, all of those things rolled up into one ball. You need to make appearances in those to make sure you keep your status. The third one, of course, is the educational opportunity, which as associates is key for us. Again, your level seminars do count as that for 1 year. Since, for example, myself, I took that last year. Now I need to make sure I have an educational credit for this year. So I need to do a little homework on my end and make sure I get through that before I, don't have my playing privileges for next year. Now, if you join the program mid-year, they do prorate this. So you'll have to get 1 out of 3 if you join in the last quarter. You'll have to get 2 out of 3 if you join in the second quarter, and 3 out of 3 if you join early in the year. So it's one of those things where it is important to make sure that you get everything taken care of there to avoid getting put on the blacklist. I call it the blacklist just because it's kind of funny that way, because it's not as serious as it sounds, but once you go down that path, it's tough to stay off of it. So staying organized, planning out your events, planning out your educationals, and of course, attending those chapter meetings is huge. As you roll forward, what happens if you are suspended? Now, number one, you can fail to have employment, which means you have to reestablish employment and let everybody know that as soon as possible. So if your course is it goes through a cutback this year and the second assistants get taken off the list, you just need to go find employment at another course or another retailer or something like that to stay in the industry through your PGM program. Number two, If you don't complete the requirements of the program, the single, double, triple events and learning experiences, that's something else you need to address. If you fall outside of the acceptable progress, so that's the 2-year mark that we always talk about in the program. You take your level 1 course, you have 2 years to finish that before you get into a suspended mode, at which point they'll address it and talk to you about how to get through the program a little quicker. You do have 8 years total to complete it, so they do plan on a couple of hiccups in there and give you that extra space, but it's better to do it quickly. Finally, section and national dues is the last one. If you pay your dues on time, I believe July is the date most of the time during the year. I know last year was a little late with COVID. They gave everybody a little break to October or something like that. But yeah, make sure your dues are current, and that will keep you off the blacklist as well. If you do fall into this pit, there are a couple of ways to get out of it. The easiest and best one that they recommend is immediately contact your mentor and start to develop a plan to get yourself back on track. You can wait for them to flag you and send you down the path, but it's much better to be proactive in this one. You can actually avoid even losing privileges if you contact your mentor directly, and every section, every chapter has them. I'm very fortunate to have one that's just about an hour up the road from me. And plus I've got 2 amazing, well, actually more like 5 amazing resources at my own course to just bounce ideas off of and work through the system that way. Yeah, so the other issue that you could run into, if your employment changes, you need to make sure you let the sectional and national offices know that. A lot of times what will happen is you'll bounce from one course to another, and the PGA will contact the initial course and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, they're no longer here, in which case that'll create a technical hiccup and you need to actually get forwarded to your new course so they know where to contact you. Your PGA number will follow you through the whole system, so again, just bringing them up to speed and keeping that one fresh in your head. If you do move, change jobs, whatever, make sure you let the PGA know that ahead of time. So if you are suspended, let's go down this rabbit hole really quickly. The process that's in place right now is the first suspension. You meet with your mentor. You discuss a path to get back on the acceptable progress chart, and also to meet those requirements for you. Again, if you plan out well, there's no way this should happen unless there's a medical emergency or something like that where you rip up your shoulder right before the event you had scheduled. But again, if you have enough events scheduled throughout the year, this year, I picked 8 events to play in. I actually had a 9th, but I don't think I'm going to take that one, even if it comes available. But I was put on a wait list for that one. But I had 8 events in the Member Pro Series all set up. And then, of course, I'll probably, the chapter meeting is just waiting for schedules to come out with, are we going to have in-person meetings or Zooms this year? It's just a little bit up in the air there, but I'm watching for those regularly. And I actually went onto my chapter site and merged their calendar with my Google Calendar. So all of the educational opportunities are put into my calendar, and all of the events are put into my calendar just with a click of a button. So that really is something you can take advantage of to help stay organized and make sure you get the right steps in place. Other than that, avoiding suspension is very, very easy. It should never happen, but it happens to so many people because we get so busy. If you have a chance, definitely plan your year out early. I'm going to pull it out here. So I got this initially to start planning out lesson times, but what this is a weekly calendar along with a monthly calendar in the front. And what I do is I put the events that I'm entering on the monthly and transfer them to the weekly. I don't work more than about 2 months, 3 months in advance. So right now I'm just getting like June put into this basically, which is really when the season starts. My first event is going to be May 10th, but something like this, you can even print these online for free with the little weekly calendar things. This one is just a real simple, softbound book that it just works really, really well for tracking. And it just lets me get things going quickly that way. But a weekly planner is absolutely fantastic. Monthly, if you can get that in the front of it, and then weekly in the back, that's even better because you can actually, put all the long-term goal dates in the front and then do it by week going later into the year. So definitely staying organized, working through at a good pace. If I go in, I'm going to pop open my tablet here really quick and show you. So for my reminder list here, I actually have all of my PGM steps in there. So what I'm working on for the portfolio for that month, I have on a checkoff list on my tablet. That syncs to my phone as well, so it kind of keeps it front and center for me. But that way I don't fall behind on getting through the portfolio work, which should keep me on track to go to level 2 right on time. So I am now, I did the seminar in August. So I have, I believe it's, I want to say July is when I have to finish it next year, but I should be done with this no later than October-ish. So about a year to get through the whole portfolio for level 1. I had a couple of months where I got a little busy, so I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but that should slate me to do the level 2 seminar at the end of this year, if they're still doing them that late into the year. And if it's still virtual, that will be even better. Mainly because of the cost. It's $2,000 right now. If you go back to Port St. Lucie, it's $750 if you do them online. I love saving money where I can, so the $750 is really nice for me. So that should take care of my educational credit. If I do slack behind a little bit, though, I've got some on the calendar that will make up for that before then, just so I have that requirement met. If you guys have any questions on this crazy topic of getting suspended, I'd love to answer them down below. There's just so many little things that are in the, I guess I'm gonna read exactly what this says. This one is the, mentoring program sheet. So the mentoring program is what you and your mentor will go through when you sign up for the program and become an associate officially. Anyway, that should cover pretty much everything. Again, if you meet your qualifying activities, and again, you need 3 of them. You need PGA education, PGA meeting, and PGA tournament. If you've got all 3 of those, you should be set. No issues whatsoever. Keep track of your acceptable progress. Make sure you get through the sections in a timely manner. Try to shoot for a year to 14 months. That way you have plenty of cushion to get to that 2-year point in case something happens. And remember, the portfolio work is only the beginning of passing the section. You still have testing after that. So if you are a rough test taker, you need to give yourself, the first test. You have 30 days before you can retake it. Then you got to do it again. So give yourself ample time to take that. If you need to rush the portfolio work a little bit and get that done in, let's say, 9 or 10 months to give yourself a couple of chances at that, you totally can. But remember, after your second miscue on the testing, you do have to meet with a mentor and develop a plan to pass the test next time. Again, the mentors are absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend getting in touch with yours and using them as a resource. Like I said, I'm just blessed to have such great minds at the course where I am at personally. So I haven't had to reach outside to my mentor as much, but the PGA is an amazing organization, and I'm looking forward to becoming a part of it and helping people through things just like this. So if you have any questions, fire away in the comments down below, or if it's a little more personal, fire off an Instagram message. It's at Ron Lunsford Golf if you want. Make sure you give that a follow if you want to kind of keep tabs on where I'm at and what I'm teaching, things like that. And other than that, I will catch you in the next video. And I'm going to leave this one as a bit of a surprise. So we'll see what comes up in episode 5 for you. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.